Best of R / Tales from Retail episode 75. Subscribe for edit videos daily, on mobile, so excuse formatting etc etc. I work in a really big shop that sells mostly clothes, but also sells accessories and home stuff. We sell designer clothes for way less than the RRP, and we're in a pretty dodgy part of town, so as well as chronic shoplifters, we attract a lot of weirdos. Today's story centers around a particularly pervy geezer, so I had a pretty short, midday shift, acting mostly as a spare person to cover the tills if it got busy, or give a handout on messy parts of the floor. I was walking towards the counter when this middle-aged English gentleman barked at me to get my attention. He had a pair of jeans slung over his shoulder and a look on his face like he could smell something really rotten. Him, looking down his nose at me. Measure these for me. I need a 33 feet leg. Me. Note: we don't offer a tailoring service. We have a measuring tape in the fitting room if you want to head up there. This man's jaw absolutely hits the floor and he rolls his eyes at me. You'd swear I told him to shove the jeans up his hole. Him. You're telling me I have to go all the way up there? Me. At this point I just wanted a quiet life, and could see the tills didn't look too busy, so wouldn't miss me. Alright, if you just wanna wait here a sec, I'll head up. Him. Do. This guy practically throws the jeans at me and I head away up to the fitting room. I measure the jeans and the leg is only a 30 feet, too short for our man. I prep myself for him probably giving me a hard time, maybe having a pop off me or making me hunt down a super specific pair of jeans. I didn't prep myself for what actually happened. Me. Alright, sorry, these jeans are actually a 30 feet leg. Him. Well, I think I'm a 33. You should measure me. Me. Thinking there was no way he could have just said that. Sorry? This guy then moves very, very close to me and spreads his leg and raises it to my waist. Him. Now smirking disgustingly at me. Measure me. At this point I drop my retail niceness. I back away from him and start speaking in the firmest voice I can muster. Me. I'm not gonna do that. You can go to the fitting room and try them on, or I can ask one of the guys to measure the jeans you have on for you. The gent knew he was rumbled at this stage. He makes that same scrunched up face again. Him. I am a 33 feet leg. You can put those jeans back for me. Then he just turns and leaves. He walks right out of the shop. I said it to one of my managers, but all we could do at that point was add this strange boy to our list of wacky customers. Thank you. Next. I worked at a big box home improvement store for about 4 years at 2 different locations. The following story happened at my first store, which was in a college town in the southern part of the USA. It was a rather slow summer morning, and I had recently been promoted to hardware sales. Took advantage of the unusually low customer volume to get some opening tasks taken care of. As I was going about these tasks, I noticed an older gentleman on the end of the aisle that looked like he could use some help. Stepped away from what I was doing to take care of him. Me. Can I help you find something this morning? Customer. Yes, I'm trying to locate your rotary tools. Can you help me find them? Me. Yes sir, I can. They're located on, insert aisle and bay here. Follow me and I'll take you to them. It was a short walk to the rotary tools from our location. We had the tools the man needed, and we exchanged the typical thank you out of retail sales. As I was stepping away, the customer proceeds to tell me what exactly he had planned for his new tools. I'm tired of the dentist not getting my dentures set up correctly. I'm going to use these rotary tools to fix them up right. Put on my best retail face and told the customer to have a nice day. How I didn't burst out laughing on the spot remains a mystery to this day. Told my manager about the encounter afterward. He had a good laugh about it too. Hope the guy didn't screw up his dentures too bad. Thank you. Next. Many years ago, in the late 1990s, I worked in a bookshop in Peterborough in England. One day, while working at the counter, a customer approached. Hello, how can I help you? I inquired. I'm looking for a book that a friend recommended to me. Not a problem. What's the title? I'm not sure. Okay, do you know who the author is? Oh, yeah, it was that guy who wrote that book about those people. Super helpful. That could be almost any male author. What is the book you're after about? I don't know. My friend showed it to me and I thought that it looked good. My heart sinks. I already think I know the answer, but do you know the publisher? No. ISBN. What's that? Don't worry. What do you know about the book? It's about this big gestures with his hands and the cover is mostly blue. I couldn't help myself. I was due to go on a break in 2 minutes. If you go upstairs, we have a blue cover section. You might find it there? Thank you. I'll have a look. And with that, he disappears up to the first floor. I wait a minute then disappear into the break room for 30 minutes. I leave the break room and was immediately confronted by the manager. OP, did you send a customer up here to look in our he provides air quotes blue cover section? Yeah, sorry. Well, luckily for you he spoke to me. After explaining his predicament I sent him to competing chain bookshop on the other side of town and told him they have a whole system where books are sorted by color and size. Oh, and it's your turn to clean the loo. Happy times. Thank you. Next. I'm in mobile so if there's any formatting issues I apologize. I work for a massive supermarket chain in the UK and was in the middle of changing departments when this happened. I work on the customer service desk and it was my last day. It was really busy as it was a Saturday and this woman came up to our desk and asked quite nicely if someone could slice a loaf of bread for her. Now in our store bakery staff don't work past 5 o'clock and it was 7:30. I told that we didn't have anyone from that department in but since it was my last I felt like a bit nice since she wasn't a bad customer and said I would try to find someone trained. When I couldn't find anyone, I explained that there's no one in the store that can help and apologized. She didn't seem too upset. About 5 minutes later the fire alarm has gone off. Being one of the 2 fire wardens in the store we had to evacuate the whole store and check that everyone is out the building and so on. Turns out this woman has purposely hit the fire alarm out of anger because we didn't have the staff to slice her bread and she didn't want to buy a pack of already sliced bread. She's been sitting in the police station across the road for about 30 minutes. Thank you. Next. I work at a chain department store. And today I was approached by an exasperated customer asking if I worked there. After responding yes, he threw his hands in the air and asked me where our shoe department was. Lost customers happen, so I smiled and said, oh, if you just keep going down this aisle and make a right at the customer service desk you'll find it. And he responded, really, in the area most far away in the whole store? That makes no sense. And angrily stormed off. Oh well. Can't imagine being so angry at having to walk a whole other aisle over to find some shoes, but I guess if you're gonna want to be mad, you're just gonna be mad. Thank you. Next. So today I was working my job, and I had brought my sandwich out as I was going to go on break in 2 minutes. I placed it on the desk, just next to myself. I only had 2 customers to help before I went on my break. The first of the 2 was relatively nice, but the second customer was pretty rude in general. Saying stuff such as shave your head, you look like a lesbian and you're going to need some plastic surgery for a nose that big anyways. I wasn't a huge fan of the man. By the end of scanning in every item he bought, he paid for it. After buying his stuff he reached over the counter and grabbed my sandwich, and proceeded to take a bite out of it, and said looks like my sandwich now. That last part really pissed me off. As I was the highest up working person there at my store that day, I told him he was banned from the store from now on. He seemed to disregard what I said and just left, so now I was left lunchless on my break today. Pretty sad now. Thank you. Next. For background I live in South Africa and work in a retail store where money transfers are done but only e-books/cards are legally acceptable, and I was a trainee manager at the time for the store working at head office now. I was off front-end duty, when a manager must be in front of the store by the tills for any issues, and one of the clerks came and told me that a customer didn't want to understand that a driver's license wasn't valid. I went and the customer said she didn't understand and other branches accept her id-book. I explained the policy which is on a poster and while we were speaking was playing on the big screen behind the counter lol. Then she said should she call our former CEO who retired several years ago office. I told her that if she feels like she needs to do that she can go ahead. Would she like a phone? She then said our customer service was terrible and will do the transaction at the branch nearest to us as they always help her without an id-book/card. I called them. Apparently she tried the same thing by them. To anyone asking why didn't we let her use someone else's ID or just accepted a driver's license. In the past I have seen people get fired when either the receiver stole the money or was sending money for illegal activities and people were fired.